My name is Elena Hayes. I'm 30 years old, and on my wedding day, I found my father standing in a hallway with no place, no chair, no table, just waiting outside like he didn't belong inside. Meanwhile, 9 people from my fiancé Daniel Brooks' family were sitting at table 1, front and center, the place meant for parents, the place where they're honored, where they're seen, where they matter. My parents were moved to table 16, the very last table in the room, pushed near the kitchen door, right beside a rolling trash bin like they were an afterthought no one wanted to acknowledge. When I asked Daniel why, he said something small, something casual, something so quietly cruel that it broke something inside me I didn't even know was still holding together. I stood there in my wedding dress, hearing 200 guests laughing on the other side of the wall, and in that moment, I made a decision I can never undo and never regret. Let me take you back to that morning, June 18th, the last morning I ever woke up as Daniel Brooks' fiancé. I grew up in a small town called Cedar Ridge. It's the kind of place where people wave even if they don't know you, where life moves slowly and people mean what they say. My father, Thomas Hayes, has been a mechanic for over 3 decades. Same garage, same tools, same worn hands that always smelled like oil and hard work. My mother, Ruth Hayes, works at the school cafeteria. She knows every child who walks through those doors. She notices the ones who pretend they're not hungry, and she always makes sure they leave with more than they asked for. We weren't wealthy, not even close, but we were steady, we were honest, and we never felt small. That changed when I met Daniel. Daniel came from a world that looked perfect from the outside. His family had money, influence, connections. They owned buildings, businesses, entire blocks in nearby towns. Their house was so large it echoed when you walked through it. The first time I met his mother, Catherine Brooks, she looked at me like she had already made up her mind. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You work at a community clinic?" she asked. "That's admirable. Not impressive, not respected, just something to tolerate." I should have understood right then, but I didn't, because Daniel held my hand under the table and whispered, "Don't worry, she'll come around." She never did. Wedding planning was where things started to shift. Slowly, quietly, Catherine chose everything: the venue, the planner, the food, the guest list priorities. Every decision passed through her hands first. Every time I tried to include something from my world, something that felt like home, she would smile and gently push it aside. "That's lovely, Elena," she'd say, "but this is a formal event." And every time I hesitated, every time I pushed back even a little, Daniel would say the same thing. "Let her have this. After the wedding, it's just us." So I gave in, again and again, until I didn't even realize I was the only one giving anything at all. The ceremony itself was perfect, exactly what everyone expected. The music played at the right moment. The guests smiled. The photos looked flawless. But perfection is very good at hiding what's wrong underneath. After the ceremony, I walked into the reception hall to check the setup. It's a habit from my job. I double-check everything. The room was beautiful. Crystal glasses, gold-edged plates, white roses arranged with precision. It looked like something out of a magazine. Table 1 was already set. I walked over and picked up the place cards. One by one, Daniel's relatives, business partners, people I barely knew, not a single Hayes. My chest tightened. I moved through the room, checking table after table. 8, 12, 14. Then I found it. Table 16. Back corner. Near the kitchen door. Next to a trash bin. 2 chairs that didn't even match the rest of the room. Thomas Hayes. Ruth Hayes. I just stood there staring at those names, trying to make it make sense. My parents. Placed next to garbage. I found the planner immediately. Who changed the seating chart? I asked. She didn't hesitate. Mrs. Brooks updated it this morning. She said you approved it. I hadn't. Not even close. Something inside me shifted right then. Quietly, like something cracking under pressure. I went to find Daniel. He was standing in front of a mirror, adjusting his cufflinks, completely calm. My parents were moved. I said, "They're at the back, near the kitchen." He sighed like I had just inconvenienced him. "Elena, it's not a big deal." "Not a big deal. They don't even have proper seats." I said, "They're fine." Fine. That word hit harder than anything else. "They're my parents." I said, "And we have important guests," he replied. "We can't just—" I cut him off. More important than them? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. I walked out, but something pulled me back. I needed to know if this was ignorance or choice. The door to the room was slightly open. I heard his mother's voice first. "Look at them, Daniel. They look poor." My heart stopped. Then I heard him. "I know." No hesitation. No discomfort. Just agreement. "They don't belong at the front," she said. "You're right," he replied. That was the moment everything ended. I walked in, looked at both of them. I heard everything. I said, they tried to explain, to soften it, to twist it. It didn't matter, because truth doesn't need interpretation. I found my parents at table 16. My dad was sitting straight, trying to look comfortable. My mom was adjusting her sleeve, pretending nothing was wrong. They smiled when they saw me, like this was okay, like this didn't hurt. That's what broke me, not the insult, their silence, their willingness to accept it for my sake. I stood up and walked across the room. Every step felt loud. Every voice slowly faded. 200 people watching, waiting. I took the microphone, and I told them everything. Calm, clear, no tears. I pointed to the back of the room. "Those are my parents." I said. People turned. Faces changed. Then I said it. "I will not marry a man who thinks my family belongs next to a trash can." Silence. Heavy. Absolute. I took off my veil, folded it carefully, and placed it on the table. Then I walked out, not running, not crying, just walking, like someone who finally understood her worth. The marriage license was never signed. We were never legally married. Daniel called me, texted me, tried to apologize. Then he got angry. Then he blamed me. None of it mattered, because I had already seen who he really was. And once you see that, you cannot pretend anymore. 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. Everything became harder, but nothing became unclear, because I knew one thing for certain. I would never raise my child in a place where love came with conditions. Today, my daughter Lily Hayes is 1 year old. She laughs loudly, sleeps terribly, and she has never once been made to feel like she doesn't belong. We live in a small apartment. My parents come over every week. We eat at a scratch table, on mismatched chairs, and every seat is filled with love. That wedding didn't fail. It revealed everything. It showed me that respect is not optional, that love without courage is just convenience, and that anyone who allows your family to be disrespected will eventually disrespect you too. So if you're sitting at your own version of table 16 right now, wondering if you should stay quiet just to keep the peace, ask yourself one question. Are you being loved or just being tolerated? Because that answer will change everything.